Let me ask you something. What if I told you that the conflict tearing apart the Middle East today is rooted in a war that started over 1,000 years ago, and that the same ideology that motivated medieval warriors is alive, and launching missiles right now? Sounds dramatic? Stick with me, because history is about to get very relevant very fast. In my last video, has WW3 started? I argued that the big picture is a war between an alliance of democracies led by America and an alliance of totalitarian states led by China. But today, I want to zoom in on one player that most people misunderstand: Iran. So what exactly are the Iranians fighting for? Oil, power, regional dominance? All reasonable guesses. But the regime itself will tell you the answer plainly. They believe they are fighting for Islam, specifically for the triumph of Islamist ideology over what they call the corrupt, godless West. Now, and this is critical, not all Muslims share this view. The vast majority don't, but the Iranian regime does. And they've formed alliances with other anti-Western states: Russia, China, Venezuela, Cuba, and North Korea. Quite the rogues gallery, isn't it? To understand the enemy, you have to understand what they believe. The Iranian regime sees the primary mission of faithful Muslims as waging war, holy war, until Allah's law, Sharia, is practiced across as much of the world as possible. That's why they support Hamas and Hezbollah, who want to destroy Israel. That's why they back the Houthis. All three groups enforce Sharia wherever they hold territory. Now here's where it gets fascinating and disturbing, because here's a question most history teachers skip. Did you know that America faced this exact same ideology in the very first years of its existence? After the American Revolution in 1776, U.S. merchant ships lost the protection of the Royal Navy. Almost immediately, Barbary pirates from North Africa began attacking them, robbing the ships, enslaving the crews. So in 1786, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams traveled to London to meet the Tripolitan ambassador, Abdurrahman, and ask him a direct question. Why are you attacking our peaceful merchant ships and enslaving our citizens? The ambassador's answer was jaw-dropping. He told them it was written in their holy book that all nations which had not acknowledged the prophet were sinners, and that it was the right and duty of the faithful to plunder and enslave them, and that any Muslim who died in this cause was guaranteed paradise. Let that sink in for a moment. The year was 1786. The United States was barely 10 years old, and already its leaders were staring down an ideology that had been at war with the non-Muslim world since the 7th century. This ideology powered the great Islamic conquests. It drove the caliphates, and it reached its high water mark at the Siege of Vienna in 1683, when the Ottoman Empire nearly captured the heart of Europe, only to be pushed back by the forces of Polish King John Sobieski III. That date, September 11th, 1683, by the way, was not chosen randomly when Osama bin Laden picked his target date. Just something to think about. After Vienna, the Ottomans slowly declined. Pragmatic voices pushed for modernization. During the Crimean War of 1853, the Ottomans allied with Britain and France against Russia, and under pressure from their new allies, agreed to abolish the slave trade in 1854 and 1855. You'd think that would be a good thing, right? Well, not according to everyone. Conservative clerics, led by the Emir of Mecca himself, launched the Hejaz Rebellion in 1855, arguing that Sharia permitted slavery and that abolishing it was a betrayal of true Islam. This is the eternal tension within Islam: modernizers versus purists. And here's another striking example: the printing press. Gutenberg invented it around 1440. The Ottomans didn't allow Muslims to print books in Arabic or Turkish until 1727. Nearly 3 centuries later, the clerics had watched the Reformation tear through Christian Europe when ordinary people gained access to the Bible. They weren't going to let that happen to the Quran. This pattern, reform versus reaction, has never stopped. After World War I destroyed the Ottoman Empire and reduced it to just Turkey, a secular army officer named Mustafa Kemal Ataturk seized power. He abolished the caliphate in 1924. For the first time in over 1,000 years, there was no caliph, no spiritual and political successor to the prophet. Ataturk appears to have been a private atheist. He couldn't say so publicly. Apostasy was punishable by death. But in an unguarded moment, he reportedly told a British writer, "I have no religion, and at times I wish all religions at the bottom of the sea." Strong words from the founder of modern Turkey. Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, Iran, All went secular after independence. All adopted Western-style modernization, and all faced the same furious backlash from people asking, if we are such a great civilization, if we once ruled from Spain to India, why are we so weak now? The clerics had a ready answer. Because you have abandoned Allah's law. Return to Sharia, and greatness will return. It's a powerful narrative. And the first country to fully embrace it in modern times was Iran in 1979, when Ayatollah Khomeini led the Islamic Revolution. Fast forward to today. On the military front, the US-Israel alliance has delivered devastating blows to Iran. Ayatollah Khamenei was killed in the opening hours. An estimated 80 to 90% of missile launchers have been destroyed. The Iranian Navy is largely at the bottom of the sea. The government is in visible disarray. Their own president was publicly apologizing for missile attacks, while the missiles kept coming. That's some impressive multitasking. But here's the crucial question. Can you win a war by just winning battles? Can you defeat an ideology with airstrikes? Iran's strategy is clever. They're not trying to win militarily. They're targeting oil refineries, blocking the Strait of Hormuz, spiking energy prices, and waiting. Waiting for American voters to get angry about gas prices. Waiting for midterm elections to terrify politicians on both sides of the aisle. Waiting for America to declare victory and go home. And remember, after 9/11, Osama bin Laden had enormous credibility in the Muslim world until the US military crushed the Taliban in Afghanistan. The moment he looked like a loser, his support collapsed. This is why Trump must go all the way. Not just degrade Iran's military, but discredit the ideology by overthrowing the regime. Because here's the fundamental truth that every American policymaker needs to understand. You cannot defeat an idea with a bomb. You can only defeat an idea with a better idea. And by showing that the idea you're fighting leads to ruin. The Iranian people know this. Millions of them are desperate to be free of the mullahs. They are America's greatest potential ally in this war. The question is, will the United States have the patience, the courage, and the political will to see this through? Politics may be America's Achilles heel, but history shows that the right leadership at the right moment can change everything. That's the bet. That's the stakes. If you found this video useful, please subscribe, share, and leave a like and a comment. What do you think? Can America stay the course? Let me know below.